Alright, to start off, can you describe the daily life in your classroom when you were in school?
In high school?
Sure.
For me, personally, I didn't take a lot of real challenging courses, and it was more of a social experience. Certain teachers were obviously more strict than others, and I would say that most of the kids were not real focused on what they wanted to do after high school.
It's the same for me. I didn't have a whole lot of guidance. Stop. But I had a couple strict teachers, and I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do, so I didn't take a lot of classes to prepare me for college. So.
Okay, well, was learning in the classroom fun, or did the teachers make education boring for you?
I would say for me it was a mixture. I had some great teachers that were very engaging, and those ended up being some of my favorite subjects. Cartography was one of them, and I took that every year I was in high school. My senior English teacher was very, very strict, but she made it really interesting as well. Carrie?
It depended on the teacher. I had a teacher that was not fun at all. And I had one teacher that I really liked. He made the class a lot of fun, so I felt like I learned a lot. But then my history teacher, I didn't like it, so I don't really feel like I learned a lot. I think it just depends on, if you have a really good teacher, then I feel like you really get a lot out of the class.
Okay, well, to kind of go along with that, Mom, why don't you answer this first? What type of learner were you? Were you a visual learner, an auditory learner, or kinesthetic learner?
I'm visual.
Visual?
Yeah, I have to see something to really get a good, I just have to have it all right in front of me before I really get it.
So would you say you like to see it done, or would you like to do it more?
Probably both.
Both?
I actually have to have like the hands-on.
Okay, so more kinesthetic.
Well, both. Yeah.
Dad?
I would say probably more kinesthetic. I can listen to somebody, explain it, I can see something being explained, but unless I actually physically do it, I'm not 100% understanding. So.
Okay, well, in the interview that I had you read, the Lightfoot interview, when she makes a statement that learning needs to be playful, what do you think she's trying to get across to the reader?
Well, I took it as though she said it should be playful, but yet it should still be disciplined, I think she said, and structured. And she said that it was a very interesting article, because a lot of people put emphasis on school to kind of solve society's problems, and that's really not what these teachers can't do that on top of everything else. She talked about class size. How do you manage 30 kids? She talked about poor kids and non-English speakers having a more difficult time, and where the teacher would kind of he or she couldn't relate to those students, So I think by being playful, it's kind of engaging the student. That's the way I looked at it, or the way I took it.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, follow up on that.
Well, yeah, but I didn't read it all, so I didn't.
would you say that it would be more beneficial to a student to have a structured class that was just read and respond, or more like read, do activities, and go more in depth?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Personally, how do you think a classroom should be run? Do you think, do you think that the students should be taught based on what, like, the school wants the teachers to teach, or do you think the teachers should take more of a higher role in their
Well,
own teachings?
you have to have, obviously, there's a curriculum set forth by the school or the district or the state or the federal government. But I think within those guidelines, your really great teachers can manipulate that a little bit and make it much more interesting for the kids and put their own flavor on it to still get the required work in.
Make it fun.
And make it fun. And it's difficult because you have a classroom of children that learn at different levels, and you've got some that pick it up right away, others that need more help, and it's a tough balance. But again, I go back to my experience with the teachers that I related the most closely with, and they always made it interesting, they made it fun, they made it engaging, and they related to you. They understood what it was like to be in the high school experience. And
Okay, how does education in school in general differ from when you attended school?
how does education?
Differ. And education and school in general.
Oh, well, for me personally, going through the back to school nights these last couple years, and the level of classes and the amount of work that students have to do today compared to what we had to do when we were in high school in the 70s is night and day. There's the workload is so much more demanding. Classrooms, the competition to get into a good college is much more than it was when we were in school. Along with that, oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say I don't remember having the homework. The
Right.
homework load like you kids have. Yeah.
And then the socioeconomic portion of it is much different. You've got a lot of broken families. You've got a lot of two-parent income households. Kids have athletic responsibility or sports after school. They've got different things going on. It seems like it's much more challenging, I think, and stressful today than it was when I was in school.
Yeah.
And then did we want to say something that was similar?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, okay. I think the similarities are the spirit activities, the games and the dances and those type of things. I think that's
Those are the same.
that's all still a big part of the high school experience.
There's more parent involvement now than there was when we were
Absolutely.
kids.
Yeah, we rarely saw anybody's parents around school in high
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
Rarely. Good point.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and lastly, after reading the Lightfoot interview, can you make a conclusion on how it may affect teachers that also have read the same interview that I had you read?
I think it was a great article, a great interview. I think she talked about how the monetary aspect of what a teacher makes, how that is an important component, but that's not the only thing. She talked about how praise for the teachers and things like that are really almost more important than the financial reward. She mentioned how a lot of very talented young women are not going into teaching. They're going into business, medicine, law, those type of things. And which is really too bad, because I think as a teacher you can make way more of an impact on somebody than another attorney. So I think it would be good for a lot of teachers to read it and kind of refocus on why they became a teacher.
All right, well said. Thank you.
You're welcome.